all you lovely kings, queens, and in-betweens, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lane, and today I'm going to be talking about Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive, and more specifically, why Rock had to die. Rock's death in the Stormlight Archive feels like one of those quiet, unexpected moments that sneaks up on you, leaving a hollow ache you can't quite shake. Unlike the bombastic, emotionally charged deaths of characters like Elhokar, Rock's fate is shrouded in more subtlety, but that doesn't mean it carries any less weight. His story, steeped in honor, sacrifice, and the complexities of tradition, leads him to an inevitable conclusion, one that resonates with the broader themes of the series. Rock's role as the heart of Bridge 4 isn't flashy, but it's foundational. While Kaladin wrestles with storms of guilt and responsibility, and the others sharpen their scales for battle, Rock's strength lies in the quieter moments, the camaraderie built over bowls of stew and shared laughter. His grounding presence allows Bridge 4 to feel less like soldiers and more like a family. That's the magic of Rock. His value isn't just in what he does, but in how he makes others feel safe, seen, and whole. But beneath his easygoing exterior, there's a weight that Rock rarely speaks of. His jovial facade masks the burden of tradition, the expectations of his people, and the knowledge that one day, his role as a cook and non-combatant may not be enough. The Uncle Aki's cultural codes shape his identity. For Rock, to kill is not just forbidden, it's a violation of who he is. His reluctance to fight isn't cowardice, it's reverence for a belief system that places immense importance on roles and duties. And yet the bonds he forms with Bridge 4 complicate this. Kaladin and the others aren't just comrades, they're family. And Rock's love for them pushes him into uncomfortable places, forcing him to question what it means to protect. When Rock finally picks up a weapon, it's not a triumphant moment, it's a tragic one. In the Battle of Thaylen Field, the act of defending Kaladin by taking a life feels inevitable, but it also fractures something within him. Rock doesn't weep for the fallen enemy, he weeps for the part of himself that's been lost. His sacrifice echoes long after the battle ends, not just in the form of exile, but in the knowledge that he's crossed a line he can never uncross. This moment solidifies Rock as one of the most quietly powerful figures in the series. His arc, built on warmth and sacrifice, reminds us that strength isn't always found in the clash of blades, but in the quiet resolve to carry burdens others cannot see. Rock's story carries the weight of quiet revolution, a subtle yet powerful reminder that change, even necessary change, rarely comes without a price. His death, or the strong implication of it, feels personal because Rock isn't a king, general, or knight. He's a cook, a friend, and a steady hand on the shoulders of those burned by war. Through him, the Stormlight Archive highlights the sacrifices made not by those in the spotlight, but by the people working in the margins, the ones who hold communities together while others reshape the world. The significance of Rock's fate lies in its reflection of one of the series' most pervasive themes. Growth demands sacrifice. Roshar's rigid hierarchies, whether it's the Alethi caste system, the Uncle Aki's cultural roles, or the traditionalist structures of the Knights Radiant, create order, but they also stifle progress. Rock embodies this tension. His refusal to fight isn't just personal, it's cultural. By crossing that line, even for the sake of protecting Kaladin, Rock challenges centuries of belief, stepping into a role his people explicitly forbid. In doing so, he mirrors figures like Kaladin and Dalinar, men striving to forge a new path, but who constantly face the reality that reshaping the world requires the breaking of old molds. Yet, what sets Rock apart from Kaladin or Dalinar is the quiet nature of his defiance. Rock doesn't seek power or revolution. His act of stepping beyond tradition isn't a grand declaration, but a deeply personal sacrifice made in a singular moment of need. This humility is what makes his story resonate. While Kaladin's struggles are often loud, drenched in conflict and self-doubt, Rock's choices unfold in the background, reminding us that true strength isn't always forged in the heat of battle. Sometimes it emerges in the willingness to put others before oneself, even at great personal cost. Rock's demise struck a heavy blow, not just for Bridge 4, but for me as a reader. Yet his fate doesn't feel like a tragedy in the traditional sense. The Stormlight Archive rarely treats sacrifice as something futile or without meaning. Rock's departure feels like a natural progression, a pivotal step in his journey and that of those around him. His absence isn't framed as a void, but as a continuation of the change he set into motion, a necessary shift that leaves the world subtly reshaped in his wake. His actions ripple outward, reinforcing one of the series' core themes, that even those without rank or ambition can leave an indelible mark. Rock's choice to defend Kaladin, knowing the personal cost, embodies the purest form of the Windrunner's oath. I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. There's no hesitation because, for Rock, protecting his family, by blood or bond, was never a question of duty. It was simply who he was. In that moment, his sacrifice feels less like a loss and more like a quiet, powerful affirmation of everything he stood for. Rock's story reminds us that not all heroism demands recognition. Sometimes it's the quiet resolve to stand firm when it matters most that leaves the greatest legacy. In many ways, Rock's story is a passing of the torch. By stepping beyond the boundaries of tradition, he inspires others to do the same. His sacrifice becomes fuel for those who remain. Much like Tien's death pushed Kaladin toward becoming a leader, Rock may not live to see the end of Roshar's struggle, but his choices ensure that those he leaves behind are stronger, wiser, and more willing to fight for the ideals he upheld. Rock's departure resonates because it reflects the quieter, often overlooked side of heroism, the kind that thrives not in grand victories, but in the moments of compassion, loyalty, and quiet resilience. In a series filled with towering figures who reshape nations and shatter gods, Rock's story is a reminder that not all heroes leave behind statues or songs. Some heroes simply leave behind fuller hearts and steadier hands. His absence in Bridge 4 creates a palpable void, not because he wielded the most power, but because he embodied the kind of strength that held others together. The intimacy of Rock's arc, the way it weaves through the narrative without demanding attention, mirrors the way he exists within Bridge 4. He's not the loudest voice, the deadliest fighter, or the most ambitious leader. He's the one who makes sure everyone eats, who offers a laugh when the weight of the world presses down, who quietly watches over his brothers like a guardian who knows the value of simple joys. In that sense, his legacy lingers not in the scars of battle, but in the way the men of Bridge 4 carry themselves after he's gone. His influence becomes part of the foundation, shaping the group long after he steps away from the front lines. Moreover, Rock's departure underscores the idea that heroism often carries burdens no one else can see. For Rock, stepping beyond his role as a cook and friend to take up arms wasn't just an act of defiance. It was a relinquishing of his place within his community. In doing so, he becomes an echo of the very forces Kaladin and Dalinar wrestle with, the cost of embracing a path that defies expectation. Yet, unlike Kaladin, who fights to transform the world directly, Rock's transformation is internal. He doesn't seek to dismantle tradition, but his actions inevitably disrupt it, creating ripples that extend beyond his own life. In the end, the subtlety of Rock's fate is what makes it so powerful. His story closes softly, like the turning of a final page, but it leaves behind the undeniable sense that something important has shifted. The quiet ending feels profoundly fitting, reinforcing the notion that not all acts of heroism require recognition. Some stories reach their conclusion not with fireworks, but with the gentle closing of a door, one that leaves the world just a little brighter for those who remain. Rock's journey teaches us that sometimes the greatest impact isn't in leading from the front, but in lifting others along the way. It's in the meals cooked, the laughter shared, and the silent sacrifices made. And when the final curtain falls, it's these moments, the unseen, uncelebrated threads, that hold the fabric of the world together. And there you have it, my take on why Rock had to die in Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive. What did you think of my take? Did you agree with what I had to say? And how did you feel about Rock as a character? Let me know down below in the comments. I always like to know what you lovely kings, queens, and in-betweens think. And if you like what you saw here today, please smash that like button until it's blue, subscribe, ring that bell so you always know what's up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye guys!
Hi, Tisha Valenza, aka Poison Ivy, and you've just been watching King's Entertainment Reviews. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.